Hello, my name is Kerry Arthur, and today we are going to have a little look at the first of the Codex Space Wolves previews. And essentially, this one is there's not a huge amount of information in there. There's not a bunch of stats really. What we do have instead is basically just an article that says, here, you now have access to literally everything, is basically what it boils down to. So we do have a faction ability in the form of Hunters Unleashed. The Space Wolves train their whole lives for the moment when battle is joined. After a long hunt tends for the kill, they spring forward to devastating effect. In any turn in which a unit with this ability made a charge move, was charged, or made a heroic intervention, you can add one to its hit rolls in the fight phase. Awesome. In addition, characters with this ability can perform a heroic intervention if, after the enemy has completed all their charge moves, there are any enemy units within 6 inches of them. They can move up to 6 inches when performing a heroic intervention, so long as they end the move closer to the nearest enemy model. That's quite nice. I do like that. It's a good amount of effectiveness, and it properly cements Space Wolves as close combat nutters, which of course they are, as they should be. They're the Space Wolves. They're Viking werewolves in space. What else would they possibly be? And the fact that there is a focus on that, despite the addition of the Primaris stuff, I quite like. The Primaris stuff, whilst it's obviously just going to be standard for every single Space Marine chapter and so on, it does, in a way, I feel, kind of reduce the personality of certain chapters. Like, Blood Angels and Space Wolves, they have a flavour to them that the default Primaris units, I personally don't feel add anything to that flavour, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I don't think the Primaris stuff is bad, but at the same time, not being able to customise it, it doesn't suit what those chapters are, in my mind. Admittedly, for Dark Angels, weirdly, it's fine, especially the Hellblasters, because they're just full of fucking plasma, so obviously, great for them. But for things like, White Scars is another example. White Scars and Primaris, to me, don't really fit all that well unless you're going to go mass Inceptors, which, of course, would be kind of weird. I kind of like the fact that they are keeping the proper personality of Space Wolves intact with this, with, well, actually quite a good ability. Hunters Unleashed, I think, is pretty decent. And I like the suggestion of sticking a Lightning Clawed Wolf Guard Terminator pack leader into every squad for brutal counterattacks, which is an amazing idea, and I love it, so nice one. Yeah, I like the heroic intervention stuff as well. I think that is a nice faction ability. I think it is properly in keeping with Space Wolves, and it really does emphasise their close combat nature. So I'm happy with that. I like that. There's been a couple of changes as well to certain units. So Logan Grimnar on Storm Rider, his hilarious Santa sleigh pulled by wolves, because of course you would take a hover sled and have it pulled by wolves. Why would you not? He now has a 2+ save, which, I'll be honest, I didn't realise that he didn't have a 2+ save in the sleigh. He's wearing Terminator armour. Why? What? What happened there? Has that been the case this whole time? I'll be honest, I haven't known Logan Grimnar's stats for a long time. I honestly just assumed the dude is in Terminator armour on this sleigh. Surely he'd have a 2+ save. But no, apparently now he has a 2+ save. So that was news to me, and frankly, good news, because he's in bloody Terminator armour, what the hell? I'm now retroactively annoyed about something that I didn't know about until just now. I mean, that's kind of impressive in a way. And also, Murderfang has been given a few extra attacks. So, I love the blasé way that's been handed out. Oh yeah, no, he's just been given a few extra attacks. And you can now add a close combat champion to your great company. You can now also outfit your Wolf Guard with Cataphracti and Tartarus armour, so you now have access to the full spread of available Space Marine Terminator armour, which again, I like that because they should have had access to it already. All the Space Marine chapters should have access to it. I know it's supposed to be rare, Terminator armour as a whole is supposed to be rare, but everyone can bloody take it, so adding those in, good, excellent. Also, the Contemptor Dreadnought, rules for that, well, data sheets for that too. So, again, just getting access to all the things, basically, is what this article boils down to. And as they say, if you've ever wondered whether a dreadnought can succumb to the curse of the Wolfen, the answer, according to the article, is yes, and it's awesome. Sorry, A, yes, and B, it's awesome. There is a little bit of the data sheet on display here, which I'll stick in the video so you can get a decent look at it. Also, there'll be a link in the description to the article anyway, as there always is. So, a Wolfen dreadnought, power level of 8, movement 8 inches, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 5, strength 6, toughness 7, wounds 8, attacks 4, leadership 7, save 3+. And a Wolfen dreadnought is a single model equipped with a Fenrisian Great Axe, Great Wolf Claw, and Storm Bolter. So, yeah, I mean, sure, it's silly, but it's not as silly as a dude riding a sleigh into battle, so I'll take it. It's got a heavy flamer, it's got a Storm Bolter, and the Fenrisian Great Axe is melee, obviously, but it has 2 different attacks, Cleave and Scythe. Cleave is +4 to the strength, -3 AP, d6 damage, and you must subtract 1 from the hit roll, and Scythe is again melee. The strength is user, the AP is -3, and the damage is 1, but you make 2 hit rolls for each attack made with this weapon instead of 1. And the Great Wolf Claw is +4 strength, -2 AP, 3 damage, and you can reroll failed wound rolls for this weapon. I cannot quite make out the war gear options underneath, and I'm assuming there are more interesting rules hidden below the fade on that particular image. You will also now get access to a bunch of shit. So if you want a land speeder storm, if you want scout bikers, if you want a Stormhawk interceptor, if you want a hunter and a stalker, then you are set. There will now be rules for you being able to use that in a Space Wolves army. So not a huge amount of stats or new information. As I say, it is mostly, and you get access to all of the shit, is basically what this article boils down to. But it means that, it does mean that Space Wolves will have more variety now. You'll unquestionably have more variety. You'll have more to choose from, more units to flesh out the army with, to make different choices for. It's a weird double-edged sword because on the one hand, every chapter getting access to everything kind of diminishes how unique those chapters are. But then again, just arbitrarily not having access to stuff that other chapters have access to that you would reasonably expect to have access to because it's just standard Space Marine equipment doesn't make any sense. So it's it's a weird kind of mix of, especially with with Blood Angels, Dark Angels, and Space Wolves, they're in this weird kind of place whereby they're not quite standard Space Marine chapters. They have a lot of the standard gear, but they also have some specialist gear that only applies to them. But it's a case of, well, if every other Space Marine chapter has access to a hunter and a stalker, why don't Space Wolves? Why don't they have that? Do they never order any? What the fuck is going on? So yeah, actually having that stuff is good because it means more choice, it means more variety. It does dilute the differences between the 3 Codex chapters and all the rest of them. But then again, to be honest, I say it's like a double-edged. I say it's like a kind of a give and take thing. I just don't think more variety is bad, I think is what it boils down to. I also think maybe, hopefully, getting access to more stuff that is not just Primaris stuff, hopefully that will make things a little more palatable for you Space Wolf guys, because a lot of the stuff that I've seen is basically kind of frustration that there's no kind of unique thing coming that you know of. I say that we know of. So I've got access to any other information that you don't have. I don't. Hopefully just more variety is not a bad thing. I don't think it's wise to get too frustrated about the addition of Primaris to everything, because as I've said repeatedly, multiple times, that's just going to be the way things are going forward. It does, however, give me a little kind of flutter of hope, so to speak, that there is a move here whereby standard Space Marine units are being pushed a little bit. Only a little bit. It's not a huge thing. It's not like, oh my god, you must go out and buy all these Terminators right now. The fact that there are rules coming for them for Space Wolves, the fact that you now have access to the Land Speeder Storm, Scout Bikers, standard Space Marine tanks, a standard Space Marine flyer, that bodes well, because that is doing a little bit to reassure me that standard Space Marines aren't going to disappear in the next 12 months. It feels weird that they would, include those stuff for Space Wolves and then have all that stuff eventually disappear over a shorter period of time. I still think overall, long term, the writing's kind of on the wall, but it shows that there's no intention to implement that anytime soon, which I quite like. So yeah, that's the first preview for the Space Wolves. I will, as I say, I'll put a link to the article in the description so you can have a read yourselves. I do like Hunters Unleashed. The actually having a 2+ save on a character in Terminator armour. Yes, why wasn't that like that before? Extra attacks on Murderfang. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. You get all the stuff. Anything you've wanted previously, unless it's something brand new, you get. So, not terrible. And the next one is going to be on Friday, and I believe at some point today there's going to be some stuff about the Eugene Stealer guys. So we'll have a look at that, hopefully, when that shows up. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below of this new stuff that you're getting. Kind of. Sort of new stuff. Nearly. New for you, not new for anyone else who's playing Space Marines, but, 50-50. Yeah, in the meantime, feel free to click video, Patreon, subscribe, all of that shit. Click it if you like, click it if you don't want to, and I will see you for the next video. Toodaloo.